Peter called me a couple of months ago, and he said, this was when we were first doing a lot of the press for Selma. And I said, man, it's been so hectic. He's like, I'm gonna bring you down to Miami, and we're gonna go to the little Haiti Cultural Arts Center, and we're gonna do NiteCap live.
Where your old boy at? I don't want to hear it. I need your old boy. He owed me a dub. Where's your old boy? Where's your old boy? I want my money.
We're just students at Booker T. Washington. We're just there.
Damn Booker T. Washington. It's either your old boy, you, or somebody gonna give me my money. I want my money and I want it today. Don't worry about it. You're dancing to a dream? Here's a dream for you. See what you made me do?
No! 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 God! Get out! Come on! Get out! Get out! Come on! Come on!
Hey, you. Yes, you. Sitting there. Wasn't she a beautiful child? Delicate like this rose. She could have changed the world. She could have been the angel to your hell. So she had to go. I took her. You know who I am? I'm sure you're wondering. I am many things. I am chaos. I am the enemy to progress. Men like Dr. King tried to free you from me. So I couldn't have that. Nelson Mandela. He wanted to unite? No. No. I am the darkness to your light. I am that doubt that says no one can inspire. I have caused boys to sell crack to their very mothers. The Crips, the Bloods, killing a man of a color. I inspire that. I have even used men of God. That minister that cruises in his Bentley while his congregation has no money for light food. I have made him greedy. I have even influenced your airways. Your favorite rapper, doesn't he love being a drug dealer? Doesn't he love making your little girls twerk and expose their bodies? I am what a playwright once called a dream deferred. I am the feeling, the urge, the emptiness that says things will never change. I have ignited Ferguson. Eric Gordon knows who I am. So does Mike Brown. I love roses. They're so beautiful, but yet so painful. If only you can understand to embrace the beauty, embrace the love without the hate, you may be rid of me. Until next time, I will forever haunt you.
Please help me to welcome the author, the journalist, the visionary, and the host of NiteCap Live, Peter Bailey.
How you guys doing? How you guys doing, can you hear me? My body of work is about understanding, it's about truth. It's not about political correctness. It's about making you think, understand, and look at the world in ways you've never seen it before. That character I created, Mr. Rose, that character was the guy in my neighborhood that when I said I wanted to write a book, he laughed at me. It's that character, that dope boy in the corner that when kids want to dream and they want to do things better, he tries to stunt their growth. That character is the person in a mansion that sees Ferguson and says, well, it's not my problem. He's chaos, he's apathy, he's confusion. He's also the people who prey on the fears of others. He's the politician who goes in the inner city and sells dreams. He's the minister who pockets and gets rich off of the pain of the poor. He's everything that's setting us back when we want to go forward. So tonight, people always ask me, what is NiteCap? What is NiteCap Live? Why are we here? I wanted to create a space where we discuss things. White, black, green, blue, gay, heterosexual, Islam, Jewish, everyone. We're here. And we talk in an honest way and we search for truth. Because when we receive truth, we gain understanding and we are better as a society. And I wanted to bring the conversation here because I like to, you wouldn't expect this in our inner city. So NiteCap Live, we're hoping it's a catalyst to basically create a cultural and an economic revival in where you see clowns, or where you think it's clowns. And I'm so honored, I'm so blessed to have my brother Omar Dorsey, who was in the film Selma. And when he comes out, we're going to discuss how we actually met, you know, because we met in a very organic manner. He flew all the way from Los Angeles. And this discussion is so necessary for the time at hand. So, Omar Dorsey, all the way from Los Angeles. Oh.
Yes.
What?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's it.
You're in Miami, man.
That's all right, brother.
You know?
All right.
Omar,
Yeah.
tell these people how we do.
Hold on one second. Now, you going to bring me out after those kids?
Actually, where? You're right.
Yeah.
Please, bring out the students from Booker T Senior. Please, bring them out. Bring them out, please. Please bring them out. Now, let me tell you the backstory. At NiteCap Live, the beginning of every show, we want to showcase talent from the community. Raw, untapped ability and talent. I went to a public high school.
Yeah, I went to
Omar did too. Yeah. These kids have never acted before. I went to Booker T Senior and I said, I got this idea. Shamar Robbins, their drama teacher, Peter, you crazy, you out of your mind. And they did it. This is Emanuela, Napoleon, Shamar. Omar, tell these people how we met, man.
Man, I was, you know how you go on a YouTube a wormhole? I was looking up interviews from like, you know, some of my favorite artists. And then I saw one with, I think it might have been Waka Flocka. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, let me see what Waka got to say. But then I saw this brother interviewing him. And he started opening up in ways that you wouldn't think your favorite gangster rapper would open up. And I was like, whoa, who is this brother? So then I started looking at a few more of his interviews, a few more of Peter's interviews, and noticing how like people like Bootsy or Rick Ross or different people were just opening up in different ways. And I was like, you are really humanizing like the people who we think is like these characters, and it's making them just look like regular people, man. And I hit him up on Twitter.
Yeah, when he hit me up, I knew I'm like, this ain't Omar Dorsey, this is crazy. And then I followed back.
Yeah.
And you DM'd me.
Right.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, man. It was I was like, because I really didn't know that, you know, about your times at the Times or the Miami Herald or any of that.
I was a bit too rebellious. Anyhow.
No, but like, so you know, then we started talking, and I was like, okay, that makes sense now. You're a journalist. You know, you're an author, so it's not like you just got a microphone to put in somebody's face.
I'm gonna take you back before we get into the root of this conversation.
Right.
You have a coworker years ago, white friend of mine.
Oh.
You know, black and white people, we have like the one crazy black friend and one crazy white friend.
Right.
We kind of talk about them.
Right.
Well, my crazy white boyfriend worked at Olive Garden with you.
Wow.
Hold up, it gets better. This is when you did your first movie, Road Trip.
Road Trip. Right.
The manager asked you to do something. Man, I'm a movie star. You out your mind. Oh, you remember?
I sure do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Omar, man, let's talk about.
Who was it?
I'm not going to do that to him. I just call him a crazy white boy. He got to go home to his girlfriend or something. I'm not gonna do that.
Man. Yeah. I do remember that. I felt so bad. Like later.
You didn't feel
I
bad.
felt bad
You
the night
Oscar-nominated
before. No, this was 15 years ago.
Okay.
And it's like I'm still busting tables at the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a movie star. Man, you better go in there and bust that table, man. So it wasn't even, I felt bad. I was like, I'm really full of myself right now. Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about that. You're from Decatur.
Yes.
You're from Decatur. You want to be an actor.
Right.
Hold up. You're a black guy from the inner city.
Right.
Muscular guy.
Right.
Deep voice. You want to do theater.
Right.
It's not cool in the hood for a brother to be artistic.
You're right.
How did your peers receive that when you're going to ballet and theater and dancing?
You know what? They were behind me, actually, because they were probably scared of me. They ain't going to say nothing to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They were like, oh, that's cool. You want to be an actor, man? And then I used to put them up on stuff. Like, I remember when School Days came out. And I was like, man, well, y'all got to watch this. Y'all got to watch School Days. You got to watch this scene with this guy with a Jerry Curl named Sam Jackson at the KFC talking to Lawrence Fishburne. It was my favorite scene. Yeah. And I was like, y'all got to watch this. And my friends were just, hey, that's cool, man. Yeah, we're going to play some basketball. Hold on, let's get finished watching this movie, man. But they were real cool until I had to walk out and start doing the ballet. Like when I saw Napoleon, I was like, yo, I remember I used to be this kid, man. I was the kid, like, 6 foot, 190-pound dude, though. You know what I'm saying? Out here doing ballet. And it was crazy, man. Like, that's when the people were like, man, you tripping right now. But the thing is, like, you wanna, even my friends in the streets, they opened their minds. They were like, okay, I guess, a brother can do this.
What do you think? People ask me why I became a writer.
Right.
And I remember growing up, and I didn't like the world I saw.
Right.
I didn't like the world I was in. And writing allowed me to create the world I wanted. What does the arts mean? We went to speak to the kids at Booker T this morning, and someone asked, why was that important? And I said, I remember we're telling kids to dream, but they don't see the dream.
Right.
You are the dream. What, in a reality where kids are just fed the negative, what does creative expression, theater, and acting mean?
The same thing I told the kids at Booker T today. I said, every great civilization since the beginning of time, since ancient Kush, the Greeks, the Romans, even the British, what is always left is the culture, is the arts, are the statues. That's what's left. So if we take that out of the schools, we take that part of the part of the left brain and the right brain, we take that part of the brain out, then what do we have left? What are we going to have to give back when in 1,000 years, when this country or this culture may not have much left? Where are our statues going to be? Where are our great writings going to be? And I think a civilization, I think a people are only as good as what they create, man. If we don't have anything to create, all we're doing is, just going to work every day and just going through the rigmarole instead of having these beautiful pieces left.
We were talking about, earlier when we were driving, we were talking about your ascension to Hollywood.
Right.
And you mentioned some of the struggles.
Right.
A guy told you something about how dark you were.
Right.
But what did he say exactly?
He said, brothers like us, man. I mean, it's like, he might have been a self-hating dude, I don't know. Yeah. But he was like, brothers like us, man, we dark-skinned, we ain't gonna never get no break. I said, you must be talking about yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? you should never limit yourself into like whatever it is, like any kind of stereotype, man. You too big, you too dark, you too light, you too short, you too, whatever. A lot of that stuff is self-hatred. And a lot of stuff has been put on us, like, unless you look like X, Y, and Z, then you're not gonna make it. But, I think talent might, I know talent trumps all of that, man. You see, like my brother David Oyelowo, who played Dr. King, man. Like Idris Elba, I mean, so all of that stuff goes out the window, man.
We were talking about, we're gonna get to Selma.
Okay.
I'm gonna touch on Selma. But before you said that, art is an expression of reality and truth.
Right.
We're seeing right now, it's weird, I don't know, but I remember growing up, I don't remember one time when a protest lasted and people are consistently wanting change.
Right.
Where are the role of entertainers such as yourself in that comment? Because I got a belief that, I talk to guys like you, and I talk to entertainers all the time, and they say, well, I'm not a role model, I don't get paid to basically speak for anyone. But my argument is that we're empowering your voice when I buy your music,
right,
when I go to see your movie. So Trayvon was empowering your voice. So if you don't, in his passing, speak for him and give him a voice,
right,
it's not reciprocated. Where do you see the role of artistry on the front lines of pushing society forward? Like, remember Harry Belafonte, Muhammad Ali, and these guys.
The thing about it is this, I'm blessed enough to be really tight with Dick Gregory. He had his star on the Walk of Fame 3 weeks ago. I sat right beside him as they were giving him his star. So the things that he did, when he sacrificed, he was the biggest comedian in the world at the time. He stepped out of entertainment to just get on the front lines. The man's been arrested 100 times. He got arrested probably like, I think a couple of years ago, to fight the good fight. This is what I'm used to. This is what I see. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. If you've seen Selma, you've seen the bridge scene when Hosea Williams and John Lewis were Crossing the Bridge, with Wendell Pierce playing Hosea Williams, Stephen James playing John Lewis. I was blessed enough to work under Hosea Williams and under his son, Afemo Amalami, and Liz Williams, Amalami, his daughter, for years. I have a responsibility to them because they did it for me, you know? And then, so anytime I hear an athlete or an artist like, man, it's not my fight, it is your fight, because you know what, you have to be able, I tell people like, when anybody says anything silly like, man, you know, I'm not about that, I say, you have to be able to empathize. Like, put yourself in that position. You're at a place of privilege right now. So you got to be able to step into those shoes. Man, that could be you if you weren't on the screen. That could be you if you didn't have a jump shot. You know, so of course, it's everybody's responsibility. It's a human rights responsibility.
Selma nearly never saw the light of day.
Who?
Selma.
Selma, yeah.
Explain that process, because the difference with Selma, it was told from the freedom fighters were leading the narrative.
Right.
And our behind-the-cuff conversation was that Hollywood likes to see someone descending into the black community or the brown community and saving them.
Right.
Oprah stepped in.
Yeah. Oprah stepped in.
How did she drive that narrative?
David Oyelowo and Oprah did a film called The Butler. He played her son, and so he was very passionate about this this project. He had the project before when Lee Daniels was going to be the director of it. That fell through. So David said, I would be negligent, like he told Oprah, I'd be negligent if we've told it from that point of view, a point of view of the writer or a point of view from Johnson coming in and saving. He said these people, the SCLC and Dr. King, they were the ones who were on the front lines. Yeah. So Oprah said, listen, let's try to make this film. She went everywhere with it. She went to Plan B, because Plan B is the production company that did The Butler, ran by Brad Pitt, yeah. And so she took it to them. And then David said, I just worked with this lady.
Black folks.
Man, he does, man. He does. I can't front, man. He does, They said Plan B is the only black film company in Hollywood, man. That's the joke.
Because he lives in New Orleans.
He lives in New Orleans, yeah. Yeah.
Now, my conversation is a little bit off the cuff.
That's fine.
I've been called. Some people in our community feel that Oprah has left us in a sense. Oprah.
Right.
People say that. What is your take on Oprah as it relates to her community?
She loves the community. She loves the community. The whole thing about it is like, she is so big. She can be able to manipulate from a higher place than just being on the front line. She can be able to manipulate from the background. Like, look, this is what I'm going to put on my television network that I own. Put these type of images out there for us. Because, the images of us, they're not the best at many times. So that's what that's what she does. She's a media person. Yeah. So her fight is through, the images and what we're going to portray. That's always what she's been trying to do.
Let's talk about those images.
Yeah.
I'll put you a little hot seat.
Okay.
We were talking about theater, dance. We were just going back and forth about John Keats and Shakespeare and just different things.
Right.
One of your biggest roles is Cookie Brown.
Right.
Before we get to that role, when I saw Django,
right,
a lot of people were like, oh, look at the big slave without teeth.
Right.
I dug a little bit deeper, and what I saw in that slave was the embodiment of someone who has been totally beat down.
That's the point.
To the point of his manhood is entirely gone.
Yes.
So I saw Tarantino trying to create this microcosm of the black reality in that one character.
I agree 100%. When playing it, I was, I looked at myself in the mirror before the first day of shooting, and I started crying, man. Because I was like, this is what my ancestor, what my great-great-great-grandfather might have looked like. He's a Mandingo fighter. He had no teeth. He got knocked. He's been beaten senseless. He had a tick. I had a tick in the, that's like a person who's been beaten down, has post-traumatic stress, we would say today. And he can no longer fight, so they're just going to throw him to the wolves. He's going to go work in a quarry. He's going to work in a stone, cracking stones. So as the actor, I said, I want to embody that, man. And that's exactly what it was, a man who has been beaten down, beaten to nothing is left of him. Yeah, that's great. It's great that you got that.
Cookie Brown.
Yeah.
Your father.
Yeah.
You know, is an upstanding brother. When you have to play a role, that stereotypical role of the bad guy.
Right.
How do you balance that?
You know what? The thing with Cookie, the reason that I got a lot of the reviews that I got was because I didn't play it the lines might have been stereotypical, even though I changed most of them.
Well, do you?
Yeah.
They allow you to kind of improvise?
Well, because they don't, like a lot of the writers aren't from where I'm from, so I wouldn't say that. I'm like, this character wouldn't say that. But with Cookie, I tried to just not be like the brooding, upset guy. I played it with a smile on my face, which is very creepy. When you're talking to somebody who's, a murderer or a killer or just a really bad person, but he's very charismatic. And then that's like the reviews. They were like, it's creepy because a lot of people stopped me, like soccer moms were like, yo, I really love that character so much.
We was at Jackson Soul Food.
Right.
This little lady had to be about, she looked like she was 75.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Cookie, I love you.
Yeah. And it's like, and you're not supposed to love that character. But I wanted to play it to, at a point where it's, like I said, I just don't want to be stereotypical. I never want to be stereotypical in anything that I do, because you can get pigeonholed into playing gangsters or you get pigeonholed into whatever. That's why if you look at anything, the things that I've done have been a wide, array. At the same time I'm playing Cookie, I'm in Atlanta playing a civil rights leader. At the same time, 4 days a week in Atlanta doing Selma, 3 days a week in LA, doing Ray Donovan. So even being able to compartmentalize that in my mind was something that was tricky. Yeah.
We were talking about the Oscar party.
Right.
And how you and the Selma crew was in there.
Yeah.
Just soaking that up. John Legend and Common, man.
Right.
Gave one of the most, to me, historic speeches at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And the other morning, Common, you were going back and forth. And on that Oscar stage, they don't like people making a political stance.
Right.
Explain what you think John and Common, when they did that, what were they feeling at the moment?
The thing is, they're musicians, so they have a different way of expressing themselves. The Oscar stage is a very, I don't want to say stuffy, but I do. You know what I'm saying? It's stuffy. But these guys come from the music world. They can go to the Grammys and say whatever they want to say whenever they win. So they brought that to the Oscars. And that's why I like everybody the next day were saying how beautiful those speeches were. Man, John was in there talking about, like when he said there are more black men in prison right now than there were ever been in slavery. Like that's like, it's like, yo, let's go ahead and get down to the brass tacks of things. And I really appreciated it. I told him, I was like, I told Common, even the one that he gave at the Golden Globes. I was like, those are beautiful speeches, man. Like, and to have a man like that, representing us as black men, as a hip hop generation, as an actor and as an artist, like that's the perfect person that, to go push forward.
We're at this, it's like we're at this, to me, I think right now in culture, we're at this bump in the road, right? Where we see Ferguson and these protests, and like I said earlier, it's like it's almost like we're at our end.
Right.
It's either we make this turn for the good and love and unity, or we're just gonna crash.
Right.
And what I've seen is, I think these young kids are tired.
Yeah.
I think they're just tired.
Right.
Where do you see the generational divide with these young, passionate, impassioned kids saying, look, man, I know we used to march.
Right.
I know we used to fight the man, but we're in a digital space.
Right.
I have a voice now. I can go on Twitter. I can go on social media.
Yeah.
I can express my thoughts with the older generation of leaders, whether they be white, black, whoever, that fought for freedom. Do you think they're understanding these kids, or do you think the kids should respect what the elders are teaching them, or should those elders let these kids lead that fight?
I mean, you think about Dr. King, right? His biggest role model was Mahatma Gandhi. So you always learn from greats of the past. Now, one thing about the older leaders, they're not understanding that right now anybody can be a reporter. You have a cell phone and you have a Twitter account. You know, so any kind of image that you want to put out there, a lot of stuff that happened in Ferguson, a lot of things that happened. I was lucky enough. We were lucky enough to be in New York when when they were marching in Central Park, because that was the same day as our premiere for Selma. So
It was the same day as the premiere?
It was the same day as the premiere. So we were the same weekend as the premiere. So it was like, but anybody can put their camera on and show everybody what's going on. What people might not even know is, like, you're thinking about, the Central Park, that protest. You're not knowing that it's like 70% white people out there marching along, saying we're tired of this, we're tired of white supremacy. That's them out there marching. You would just think, it's just a whole bunch of black folks out there marching. But everybody's getting tired of it. And so I think that, like, whatever our elders can teach our youth would be perfect. And I also think that the youth should be able to listen, because you still do need some type of structure. You need some kind of discipline. Same thing that, like, when I play James Orange, in Selma.
Met James Orange?
I have met James Orange. He's a member of the SELC. Yeah. That was an organization. They worked together for a decade. So it's that type of organization that people need to see, and that's really what moves the barometer.
When I was younger, I was a radical, man.
Yeah, I was
still a closet radical.
No, I was a radical. I was a X-Clan listening to, a Public Enemy listening to, dude.
So I remember in college, I was mad at everything.
Yeah.
I was mad at you, even I didn't know. I was just mad at you.
Right.
I think when I look at society, and we're trying to move forward, right?
Right.
I'm a believer in this. I might get kicked out of it. I might get banned. I had a conversation with Boosie.
Uh-huh.
And we discussed black on black crime.
Right.
And people got offended when I said that I don't have time thinking about racism. I can't spend my whole life fighting a person, a man. In today's society, do we give the energy to fighting that systematic racism of the man, or do we take that energy into self-empowerment?
Man, I mean, we have to be self-empowered in order to be able to fight systematic racism, I believe. If we don't have an economic base as a people, nobody's going to listen to us. That's one thing that I learned about the gay community. They have an economic base. The Jewish Coalition have an economic base. A lot of people, they have economic base, man. But if we don't have that, no nobody's gonna listen to you. Nobody is. Like, you're just going in the streets, just marching. I think that's a major thing that we have to look at. Group economics, man, and I think that's the beginning of it. But that's a hard thing, man. It's really hard because we've been conditioned to, like, get rims and to get the Bentleys and stuff. But the thing about it is that we all could have things, these material things, if we spend together. If we help each other out. We talk about that.
Why do you think, though, in our community, there's just always that one guy that wants to be king of the hill?
Man, because I guess, I don't know. Everybody wants to be the king. That's what it is. You want to be the leader. You want to be the main guy. I mean, people, the ego wants to be that. The egotistical one wants to be that.
We really appreciate Omar's truth. And this is the part of the program where it's your turn to speak. It's your turn to ask Omar what you feel free to ask him. The correspondent's right over there, so you guys can line up, and whatever question you have for us, feel free. Please don't be shy. Please.
Hey, what's up, Bo? Hey. I just want to say, Omar, don't feel bad. That GM at Olive Garden, I think his name was... That dude is kind of man.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, bro? Good to see you. Well, first, I just want to say congratulations. I followed your career since our days in Glendale.
In Glendale, yeah.
But yeah, I watched a lot of your work, and really, really proud of you, man. Good job, and keep it up, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Hi, am so proud of you, Mr. Peter Bailey, for opening up us for these kind of conversations. I see so much value in it, so I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
To you, I want you to speak more about how difficult it was to get Selma to the screen and how I think because we're looking at it as a money-making project, how movies like Selma don't make as much money overseas or internationally, and that does make studios hesitant to put the money in, and how do we combat that? And what do you see as the future for movies about our history, because they are a necessary story?
Yeah, with Selma, I auditioned for Selma when Lee Daniels was doing probably about 5 years ago. They were ready to go. I was gonna play Hosea Williams, actually. I wasn't even gonna play James Orange. But it didn't get to the screen. It didn't get there. They said it was because a hurricane was coming to New Orleans. That's what the excuse was. Now, I don't really know the story behind it, but I know when Oprah got attached to it, man, she's the fairy godmother. She sprinkles pixie dust and things happen. What was the other question? I think that's a myth. I believe that's a myth. As far as like black films not making money overseas. 12 Years a Slave made $200 million. The Butler made $200 million. These movies make money, but the myth is that like black people don't sell overseas. I was in Paris, walking down the Champs-Élysées and just walking, and this was on New Year's Eve, and then people were like, il est cookie. I'm like, what? I said, they're saying cookie. He's like, you're cookie, right? I was like, yeah. Oh, I'm talking about, I was on the Champs, and like, I was like, yo, they know who we are. They do. And it's like, I think it's a myth to be like, nah, those movies won't make money. That's why I was like, we do a jazz film, especially in Paris. Anywhere. That's a jazz culture. You do a film for like $1 million, it'll make 5 or 6 million in Paris alone. So, and they know who we are. That's like those emails from Sony, I think they were a lie. I don't subscribe to that. Oh, wow. And I'll tell you this because I know hip hop culture jazz culture, period, took over Europe. Hip hop culture is taking over the world. They know who we are. They know who LeBron James is. They know who Kobe and Michael. They know who we are. So we can't like we can't go like, oh man, we only know us here. That's a lie.
I just want to thank Omar. You're my brother too, man.
For sure.
I think that you are a true definition of when we say we're gonna build together.
Right.
You represent that. Because, in entertainment business, let's just be honest, it's the flakiest world you will ever enter.
Right.
People will say, yeah, I got you, dog. Yeah, I got you, bro.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. But tonight, you showed that it means something. And like I said, we created this for this city, this community, to show that, we're more than bottle popping on South Beach. We think as well. And we're a city that is raw and bold. And people who are raw and bold are leaders, if you think about it. And that's why we're here. And you're right, it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank my team, Eddie Daniels, Kev, like I said, the people, Karen Fry, Ronnie Charles, Paul Brasington, of course, Sandy, Deborah, we're creating this for you, my cousin Sean. We're creating this for you. We're creating this space for us. Because I've always felt there is light where you don't think there is. There's beauty if you really look for it. So I thank you for coming out. And like you said, your family and the Miami Times. Carolyn Guinness, the executive editor, she got me back to writing again. She got me back to writing that column again. And appreciate it. And that's black media. That's owned by the community. And my motto has always been just love and live, because love conquers all. Thank you. Thank you for coming out.